Hello, Flosstube. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches here with my hair's all messed up. My update number 436. Today is Saturday, May 23rd. May 23rd. 2026, and Monday is Memorial Day. It's a little bit early this year. It's the last Monday of the month, and that happens to be this Monday. The 31st is Sunday. So today, this Monday is Memorial Day. I'm wearing a red shirt. It's basically the only red T-shirt I have. Well, no, I have a Christmas one, but yeah. But and I was gonna wear this like maybe I was like it's a little casual, but I could wear it on Sunday to church. But there's a hole in here, what I call a puck hole. There's a little hole on my shirt. A lot of my T-shirts, many of my T-shirts have little holes like right here, because Puck has a tendency to like kind of hug me, but like he gets his claws like stuck in my shirt. So I have all these, and then like he'll go and get off, like his claw will get stuck in the shirt. So I have all these little what I call puck holes on my shirt. As a matter of fact, I have a shirt a friend brought me from Little Rock. The symphony there has done for many years a concert, Beethoven and Blue Jeans. It's like they'll play like a Beethoven symphony or a Beethoven piece or whatever, and then some other pops things. But the orchestra dresses in these. They have a T-shirt every year that says Beethoven Blue Jeans, and we would wear blue jeans with it. So my friend was playing out here shortly after I moved out here, and so he brought me the T-shirt from that year, and so it was brand new, and like I think I had worn it once or twice, and puck holes in it. So it's like it was a brand new shirt. It had puck holes in it. Anyway, so yeah, so I discovered this shirt has a hole or two in it. So I ran out to the store today, and because I thought I kind of want to wear a Memorial Day kind of style something T-shirt tomorrow to church. It's a casual kind of place. It's out here in Arizona. People are very casual. And many times about even church. When I was growing up, you would get dressed up on Sunday. But out here in Arizona, I guess partly because it's hot, partly because it's sort of a casual kind of place. People, wearing shorts and flip flops and stuff like that. Anyway, so I thought I would buy a T-shirt for Memorial Day. So it says USA. It's got the big eagle on it. It says "Born Free." What does it say? Born Free, Live Free. Yeah, that's what I thought. And it has the year on there since 1776. So I thought it was fun. So anyway, I bought that today. So I'm going to wear it tomorrow. Anyway, so I have a few things to talk about. Real quick, little shop update. My sister made this project bag. It's a little bit larger. It'll take a full size, like 8.5 by 11 size pattern, but it's this lovely little. It's kind of a metallic. You can't see it on camera so much, but these little fireworks things are all like a metallic painted on print, and then this courage, valor, united we stand, strength, all that this kind of things on this, and then it has a USA charm, a zipper pull. So these are in the Etsy shop. So yeah. Let me set this aside over here. Anyway, so that's a quick shop update, and so last week I talked a little bit about I was almost I was technically hit my 7-day goal with for Silver Creek Samplers Lost and Found, and so I did a little bit more on it. I just finished the words on the because I finished all the stuff on the top up here, and so all I have left was the the grass has some flowers here, and then the rest is like basically grass around the sheep's feet. But I finished all the words here and finished the verse here. So yeah, so all that's left, and I'm done with it for this month. But so at some point, I just have to finish the grass. So next time I pick it up, I'll probably be able to just finish it. Like I said, there's some flowers here, and the rest is various shades of grass and stuff around the sheep's feet. So it's almost done. I was hoping I could. Oh, and there's a border, like this top border here. There's a border down here under the words, and it has the year on it. I think the year that was on this is 2020, but so obviously it's not that now. It's 6 years later. So so if I put, there's a cat hair on here. If I put a 6 on there, I'd have to like figure it out, because on here it says 2020, but there's not really a, there's not like any kind of, alphabet or numbers or anything like that charted. So I would have to figure that out. But anyway, so I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Maybe it'll be 2027 before I finish it. But anyway, so this is Lost and Found. Like I said, I've hit the 7-day goal plus for that one. So I don't know when or if I'll get back to it anytime soon. So that was the second of my WIPGO calls. The first one was Millie, I showed before. So I had just my 2 new starts for the month of May, and the first one I worked on was Moon Gazer, and I talked about the fabric choices that I was thinking about. And so I had chosen the Lugana. This is by Heartstring Samplery. And so I went ahead and started on this fabric, and I tried to find a darkish area. So this is all the wider that this pattern is, because this little dot here of like a little 4 patch here is basically the edge of the design on this side. There's a thread right here that marks the corner here, so that's the corner of the pattern, right? So this little 4 patch thing star is this edge, and over here the side of the moon here is the other edge. So that's as wide as it gets. So it's a little bit longer this way. But anyway, I started working on this. My sister said it looks like the Death Star. Started working on this big moon, and I placed these stars. I counted them very carefully, so I think they're in the right place. Of course, like my sister says, there's no such thing as a cross stitch, please. So if these stars were not exactly right, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Except I want to make sure that the moon is in the right place because it's the edge of the design. So so I was working on this, and I had gotten to the end of a thread, and I thought, I want to do some other color, But up here in the sky is a whole bunch of those stars, and they're all like, 10 squares this way, 11 squares that way, and it's a lot of counting and a lot of double checking and everything to make sure they're in the right place. But the rest of the pattern, I thought, well, okay, there's trees here, and then there's a big field of snow and stuff, and then this bunny. And so I was looking at the called for threads, and because I knew I was missing a thread or two, I had already ordered them. Because I thought, okay, well, maybe I can start, and do something else. But so I had the browns, the 2 brown colors that are called for this bunny. but that's very far down, you know. And so I thought, okay, well, there's these trees. But of course, that's a color that one of the colors that I ordered because I didn't have it. And the brown, you know, little, you know, like craters and spots on the moon here, I thought, okay, well, I'll do those because that way if I put them in there, then I can, you know, just fill in the white and, you know. But this is the other color I don't have. So that I had ordered, so I haven't received it yet. So I already, like, one of these lines here, I missed, like, the first, you know, brown spot, whatever, on the design. I stitched right over it, and so I'm gonna have to, like, stitch, you know. It's not hard to, like, just put one X on top of an existing one. I just have to do that. But so now I'm very carefully leaving, you know, gaps in the moon here where these, yeah, see that, so that there's one little dot that goes like up here somewhere. But so yeah, so I'm in the process of, you know, leaving spaces for those little spots. But so yeah, so that's why I don't have anything else but the moon going on right now. And so I'm probably going to work on that a little bit more today, for the next several days because, yeah, because that is all I have left to work on as far as new starts are concerned, because I finished the sewing one. I have finished. So this is my other new start. This is the Lindy Stitches Nevermind, it's called. And down here it says a haunting freebie. This is a freebie from I want to say it was from, it might have been from the Harvest Moon Hangout last fall. I don't know. It doesn't say on here, but I know it was fairly recent. But so it's called Nevermind, right? Nevermind, quoth the passive aggressive raven. So I started on the 19th and finished it yesterday. So yeah, there's Nevermind, quoth the passive aggressive raven. And so this fabric is actually, it's a little hard to see his beak there and his little talon down there. They're a little hard to see online. You can see them better in person, but they're not quite. I probably could have gone like a shade darker because of this fabric. This is from the grab bag. I wasn't going to use it, but then I thought, you know, I'm gonna look at that, and these grab bag fabrics are it's the right size. This actually, when you know kind of look at the chart, it looks big, but the count on it is only 80 by 59, so it's, I think, 80 this way and 59 this way. So yeah, you know, like I put this, like, you know, I used my corner gauge and it's like a 2 over and 2 down, but really, you know, I could have started it a little bit closer to I just like having that edge because I could put it in a hoop and it, you know, fits better that way. And but anyway, so this is 36 count fabric. I think 36. My sister, like I said, my sister and I sat down and like counted all these fabrics because they weren't, you know, because they were from the grab bag. They weren't labeled with color or count or anything like that. So we sat there with a ruler, you know, and counted them all. So we think this is 36 count, and it's kind of a brownish, brown beige, you know, with a little bit hint of purple, I think. Anyway, but yeah, so it was just the right size. It's, you know, like I said, these cuts are narrow like this. You know, if you look at them this way, they're very narrow. They're serged on, you know, on these ends, but then this is where the fabric was cut for other people. But so, yeah, so it was perfect for this. It was a good color, a very Halloween-y color, and yeah. And it's all DMC, and they look very good on there. The only, like I said, the only thing that's a little hard to see is the gray of this beak and talon. But otherwise, yeah, the colors look pretty good on there. So that was my other new start for May. So that is a SAF, start and finish. Yeah. So last weekend was the spring mingle, and I didn't spend a whole lot of time there. On Saturday I had a bunch of stuff going on, and you know, kind of didn't get a whole lot of time back at the spring mingle. But I had gone Friday night and had, made some purchases and stuff, and I talked about the purchases last week, but I didn't have them in my hands to show you. So the little freebie was by Hands On Design. Let's see if I can get a good picture of that. This is Indigo Road Pincushion. She talked about how a few years ago, I think this was in 22, they were doing some the bridge on the road to her house was closed, and so they were doing like a little over 8 weeks of work on that, and so they had to detour around it, and one of the roads that she passed was called Indigo Drive, and then there was like jade and some other gemstone things. So anyway, that I guess that name kind of stuck in her head, and so it's just a really pretty little some houses, and I don't know what this is, flowers or whatever. But yeah, and then it has just an alphabet on there, so I thought it was cute. So I went ahead and downloaded that. And then the patterns that I bought, I talked about how I bought the fabric, the Gaia fabric, and then the set of pins by Puccini. I think the pins were called avocado toast or something. So it's I think one of the pins is supposed to be like, I can't think of. I want to say one of them is supposed to be a piece of toast, but there's 3 pins, so I didn't remember what the third one was. But the second one, but the third one was like a purple avocado. So anyway, I thought they were really cute, so I went ahead and purchased those. And then the downloads, the patterns that I got were Strawberry Moon by Stitches by Ethel, and there's a few other of these moon patterns. But this is Strawberry Moon. I think I want to get the other ones too. I had thought about them, but I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this one. So it's got a little moon. Let me turn off the sound on my phone because I thought I had, but I turned it back on again. Okay. So that was Strawberry Moon by Stitches by Ethel, and that's not too big. It's like 68 by 30, but 68 by 80. Excuse me, 68 by 80. And I think it calls for DMC and a few. I think it has like a 1 week's color or something like that. And this is another one I bought called Bird Party, and I think it's all DMC colors. But I thought about my niece Hannah. This is it the Velvet Pony? Is that the name of the designer? It got kind of cut off on when I printed it. I don't know. It's like I said, it's cut off here. But anyway, Bird Party. And the reason this caught my eye right away is that my sister had talked about my sister Naomi had talked about her daughter Hannah is really into birds and all that, but she sort of wanted something realistic, not like a cartoon bird or whatever. So so yeah, this caught my eye. There's a blue jay there, and think this is a kingfisher, if I'm not mistaken. And some other things like that. So, yeah. So I think I want to stitch this. This is a little bit larger, 122 by 131. So, but like I said, it's all DMC colors. So, yeah, that should be fun. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but, you know, there it is. And then for cross stitch camp, I talked about how it was something for a magazine, something patriotic, and then something new to you. So the patriotic one, I was going to do Freedom Flock, and the something new to you was Glory in the Wind. We talked about those two. And then the one for June, I had not decided on. So I'm going to take that out because that's not a great print. This was the fall 2020 issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. And my sister Eve had been borrowing it because she was doing this Barbara Anna, I think it's Barbara Anna, isn't it? Yeah. Barbara Anna design of this Trick or Treat kitty. But she just did the kitty, and I think she did, there's a little stack of pumpkins. She did pumpkins on both sides instead of everything in the design. And I almost did this because I thought, well, she didn't do the whole design. Maybe I'll do the whole design. But I thought, well, you know, I don't want to be a copycat. And there's a couple of things in here I thought about doing, I considered doing, like this one, Vulture Villa. This is Lindy Stitches design. I thought that was really cute too. And I thought about doing that once upon a time. But the one I started on, I had it, here it is Autumn Owl Etching. This is a Cecelia Turner heart and hand design. And I had actually stitched this before, but I had given it to my sister-in-law Rachel. She's, you know, likes owls and all that. And so I had stitched it for her, but I had not stitched it for myself. So I don't know if it was all this year of what is it, 2020, or if some of them were one side or the other of 2020. But they were in punch needle, and there was I think there was a spring one, I think was a bunny, and then the winter one was a cardinal, and the summer one was like 3 fish. I think it was called Summer Catch, something like that. And that one with the fish I had stitched for my father. But then in all the hubbub of moving, it's put away somewhere. I haven't been able to put my hands on it. But so I have the cardinal and the bunny, and theoretically I have the fish. And so I want to go ahead and stitch the owl, and so something from magazine, it'll work perfectly. So I went ahead and printed it out of the magazine, but if you look at this picture, it's like something had some kind of glitch in my printer that it was glitched the picture that way. Fortunately, it did not do that same glitch with the actual pattern and this list. I think they're all classic colorworks, and I know I had them when I stitched it originally, so I'll have to look and make sure I still have all those colors. But then the other thing I was thinking about was there's many of you have seen the Plum Street Samplers patriotic pattern called A Worthy Patriot, and it's it's pretty big, and many people are working on it for. And I think it was, inspired by this 250th anniversary of the U.S. And so I had thought about that. Once when I first saw it, I think it came out at Market. And so when I first saw it, I thought, oh, I really want that. But I shied away from pulling the trigger on that one because because it was large, you know, and I was already buying a whole bunch of patterns, you know, the Beneath the Waves, um, whatever it's called, series, you know, at Market. I bought several of those. And so I did not buy Worthy Patriot. But now that more and more people are talking about it, I thought, oh, I really want that. So I may get it either from the attic or from, I think it was on sale at 123 Stitch. I don't know if it still is, but it was there. And the threads for it, I have most of them. I don't know if they're a combination of weeks and Cuts of Color Works or something like that. But anyway, there were two or three threads that I did not have. So I'm going to look at it again, and I may go ahead and just go ahead and order that. Um, let me check out one things are here. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah. So, and the reason I thought about it again was that I was watching somebody's flossy about it. I'm sorry, I don't remember who the name of the person, but she was talking about how she's going to do several patriotic things um, from Memorial Day, which is Monday, through Labor Day in September. And I think she said that Labor Day actually falls like this, like kind of the second week of the, you know, because I think it's also the first Monday in September, but the way the calendar is, it falls, you know, like several days into September. That Monday is, I don't know what. Actually, let me look at my calendar real quick. Um, yeah, the 7th is Labor Day. So, you know, the 1st of September is on Monday, and I mean Tuesday. So it's all the way to the 7th until Labor Day. So you have like an extra week on this end and an extra week on that end if you're doing that, you know, stitching patriotic stuff between Memorial Day and Labor Day. So I thought, you know, that's kind of an interesting thing. I really don't have a whole lot of room in my calendar, my stitching calendar, because, you know, I have my regular WIPGO stitching and WIPGO and a new start for each of those numbers in June, July, and August, and the three charts for cross stitch camp. Um, yeah, and but I would really like to at least get a start on a Worthy Patriot. So so that's on my radar also. So I'm gonna have to do some quick calculations like this weekend to see what I'm gonna order and when. But yeah, so I would like to order a Worthy Patriot. Just because, yeah, it's one of those things like, ooh, 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 I really want that. But yeah, so I think that is all I have today. Um, so, like I said, I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on a Worthy Patriot and see what I have to do about threads. I want to look at the at what I have, because I know that a couple of them are called for in some of the other patterns that I have, and if I'm probably, you know, not gonna, they're not things that I'm gonna finish, but like the thread that I ordered this week, some of them I never had, but some of them I had and ran out of as I was stitching, you know, because I had like half a skein or, you know, the end of a skein and didn't have enough to finish what I was using them for. So I want to look at the threads that I have and see, you know, how much of a skein of various colors I have. Is it almost out? Is it full? Is it, you know, new? Um, yeah, to see what I need for Worthy Patriot. Because it's kind of, there's some colors that are pretty dense. Like there's a Paul Revere, Midnight Ride of Paul Revere block that is, it's pretty full coverage because it's a nighttime color, with the people. I think three people riding horses: Paul Revere and two other guys that rode that night. So anyway, that block is, like I said, has that darker color. I don't know if it's a navy blue or if it's a black or whatever, but it's behind the riders. So I would need a sizable chunk of that to do all that. So I want to look at those threads to see what I might need to order, because I don't think I need to order all of them. So but anyway, so that's something that I think I'm going to do in the next day or two. But anyway, so I think that's all. By the time I see you next time, I was kind of hoping that the new WIPGO numbers would come out a little early, but but I don't think that's really happening right now. I mean, I don't expect to see the new numbers until after Memorial Day, I guess. That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. I'm trying to do two things at once here. That's not right. Anyway, I don't have it here, but so the new numbers for WIPGO for June should come up any day now. So I'm gonna try to lay out my June plans and all that stuff. So anyway, that's all I have for this week, and yeah. So I will see you next weekend. In the meantime, have a great Memorial Day for those of you in the U.S. Hope you have some fun plans. Whether you're, going to see a movie, have a cookout, have some just family time, whatever. Yeah, so hope you have a good time. And I will see you next week. And until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.